So I'm here with Tami Daly from Acronym Media for SEO Chicks, and we're going to be talking to Tami about data analysis, particular methods, and some little tools and tips that maybe Tami can talk us through in order to get the best out of our search metrics. So Tami, could we start, if you could tell me a little bit about yourself, your career and Acronym?
Sure. So I work for Acronym Media in the ROI Labs division, which is kind of like the web analytics side of things. So I'm the Director of User Experience Optimization there, and it's an unusual title, but I think it really taps into what web analytics is really all about. It's not just about the data, it's about translating it and really using it to analyse all parts of the user experience when people are online. So we're really excited to be launching a new UK office for our ROI Labs brand. So we're kind of here to start a few discussions with people and get conversations going.
Excellent stuff, okay. And how long have you been at Acronym?
Nearly 4 years now, but before that I was based in the UK actually doing some more general marketing analysis. So the web analytics thing is kind of, I say new territory, but 4 years is kind of a long time in this day and age.
It certainly is, absolutely. Okay. So first question, I think a lot of our readers for the SEO Chicks blogs are working with clients that are traditionally considered as SMEs, small, medium, and a lot of them actually are working for themselves on sites that probably generate maybe 100 to 500 visits a day.
Okay.
I think there's inherent problems, or difficulties rather, in working with small sets of data. Is there anything that you could do to advise our reader community about doing statistically meaningful analysis?
I mean, it is a problem. It is a problem, and it's one we run into fairly often. A lot of the work we do when we do our deep dive analytics at Acronym involves the use of segmentation. So even when we have a fairly large client, when we begin to apply all of these segments, that we find even with large traffic volumes, we can be looking at a fairly small subset by the time we've kind of whittled it all down. There is no right answer, but I'd say as a general rule of thumb, like somewhere around 30 to 50 data points, if you're trying to analyse things like that. But what we really want to be looking at is, identifying trends that are occurring kind of further down. I know one of my sessions, thanks for blogging about it, one of the sessions yesterday I talked about when you are doing analysis, even on a small website, just to avoid looking at those top 10 kind of results, the top 10 campaigns or the top 10 page views, and really try and get down to the ones that are showing the greatest percentage increase, which can be problematic when you have a small website. What it really just means is that, maybe rather than looking at the top 10, you're looking at maybe the ones that are listed 20 to 30.
Okay, that's good advice. What about something that was mentioned yesterday was clustering of keywords, analysing keywords that have some sort of commonality. And I think that could be really useful for people that are dealing with particularly tail term keyword sets where, let's say, 70% of your traffic might come from 500 keywords, and the remaining 30% might be spread across 5 to 10 keywords.
Right.
How, or describe some of or there might only be one way, or one method of clustering those 500 to 1,000 keywords together.
Right. Another really excellent question. And the answer is there's no set way to do it.
Okay.
And that there shouldn't just be one group of clusters that you apply either. So you really want to get it as advanced as possible in your categorization. And you can categorize by different themes. So one example may be that you categorize by intent. So where in the shopping cycle are they, and cluster by those types of keywords. Some of the obvious ones are clustering by like product groups or language that's unique to particular geographies, but they don't need to be mutually exclusive categories. I guess that's really the point I'm trying to get at. So we may have one keyword that could appear in 5 or 6 different keyword clusters, and what we really want to do is analyse the data to say which ones have the greatest insight. Is it when we cluster them by where they are based on their intent, or is it when we're looking at the information, is it making more sense when we cluster by product category? So you do need to, when you're looking at clusters, slice and dice them. They're not these mutually exclusive entities.
Okay, so it's more of a matrix approach than the silo approach to organising your data? Okay, I'm with you. Okay. One thing that I've noticed throughout the conference, there's been very little reference or mention to accessing web content via mobile devices. In terms of, I'm sure you've probably had quite a lot of experience of analysing data from a mobile source or web data, whether user arrives via a mobile device, via web browser on a mobile, smartphones, or more traditional mobile access methods. When it comes to mobile data, I don't know a hell of a lot myself. I've not analysed a lot of this data myself. But my gut feel would be things like page views would tend to be lower and visit times would tend to be shorter. Is it wise to strip out mobile performance metrics from your general web analytics?
You always want to make sure, there's always so many arguments to strip out different segments, whether or not it's mobile or another segment. You always want to make sure that you have at least one global view of absolutely everything that's occurring on your website. You don't really want to get into a position where we say, well, we're going to silo this group of people, we're going to silo this group of people, and not be able to get a really global rolled up view. So it's important you keep the global view, but absolutely critical that you are able to segment them and look at them in isolation if you want to, because they do behave very differently. But at the end of the day, when you want to have that global approach, there's still consumers coming to your website, and success should still be measured, I think, evenly, regardless of how they come to your website. The end game is to get a sale or a conversion or to capture a lead. So if you're measuring success, you want to look at it globally, but user behaviour, definitely segmented out by mobile.
Okay, and just to finally sum up, are there any particular tips you could offer SEO Chicks readers, viewers in this case, as to how to best understand your web data? Any particular tools you could recommend, or just a final focus?
Oh, how long you got?
Sorry.
I could be here for hours, but the one thing I must kind of harp on, and it's not new, but because it's not particularly sexy, we don't like to talk about it a lot, and that is, garbage in, garbage out with web analytics information. And I just, a lot of what we do at Acronym is going in and auditing existing implementations of web analytics tools. And 9 times out of 10, they're only capturing half the information they should be. And when you're trying to use this information to make really educated decisions about how you should be allocating marketing budget, how you're understanding your consumer, if you don't have a really solid analytics setup, it can be really problematic. So, not to geekify it too much, but I recommend like an audit, like a quarterly audit of your web analytics tool, just to make sure that it's, useful and accurate.
Okay, that's great. So run against server logs, run against raw data collection methods?
I'm not opposed to having multiple web analytics tools.
Okay,
on your
normalise
website.
the data?
Generally, it's kind of apples and oranges, but what we do find is we want to make sure. I don't like to pull information from, let's say, Google Analytics and compare it to what I'm getting in my Yahoo Web Analytics.
Okay.
I know they should match, but they never really do.
I know, that's the problem, yeah.
But what we do want to see is that the trending that are occurring in both of them are showing the same patterns. But, it is a fair comparison. Particularly if you want to go in and just do a few of your own test sales on your website, make sure that they're both showing up in your tools as well. That can help.
That's brilliant. Thanks so much for your time, Tami.
No
That's been really helpful.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.